Well, hospital porter's pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. And welcome to Oxford after the zombie apocalypse. It looks like that. It's not often you see Oxford looking like this, looking like a scene from 28 Days Later. But yeah, the reason it looks like this is because it's 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I'm heading off on another adventure, yeah, not so long after the last one. I'm actually not going quite so far this time. I'm only going to South Wales, and only for 2 days. But it's still nice, it's still fun, and quite exciting in a way. And I'll take you through it. I'll show you where I'm going first of all.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the event I'm going to see. It's called the UFO Paranormal and Spiritual Conference 2025. Not a very original name, but you know, I think it kind of does what it says on the tin, from what I gather. Yeah, this is lovely, and it's a lovely location by the looks of things. It looks beautiful in the pictures. The West Usk Lighthouse in South Wales, and there's been some real great, some really great kind of like feedback from previous conferences. And the tagline is, "We are the 100 monkeys ready to change the world. Another wonderful conference awaits us on the 14th of June 2025, which is today at the time I headed off." And it talks about how it is about networking, checking in. There's lots of social time in this particular conference, even though it's just a one-day event. There's Chris Robbins on UFO and current disclosure. No relation to Peter. A very interesting kind of scene that is. Then Lorraine Wilkins is here. Yes, Lorraine, everyone knows Lorraine because she turns up at every conference with her stall. But she's always kind of always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Only this time she's speaking. So that's really great. Why aliens might be here, what they want based on their observable behaviour. So it's like Marshall Vine Summers and that thing. Then Alan Foster, who I'm familiar with, on ley lines. And do aliens use the lines to travel on the Earth? Are they creating crop circles to tell us they're here? I often think that. And then the one and only Maria Wheatley, the one-two stop lady, who is where you go if you want to know anything about the megalithic world. Then the Dice Man, Steve Thornton, on his spiritual experiences. Then Andy Guy, researcher of the paranormal, will display some equipment to detect the unknown world. And then finally some gorgeous hunk called Emlyn-Jones, UFO researcher, concluding for us on and we'll answer any questions, which I did do. And then there's a Skywatch, and there's also like a party afterwards, which is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yep, that's where I'm heading off, and I'm a speaker this time, so, and I don't know if I'm prepared properly. See, the thing is, like, I couldn't sleep last night. I didn't sleep a single wink last night, because I was like up until just doing my preparation. Once I got all the preparation, everything done, and posted the articles I wanted to post, and things like that, I was really tired. See, Terry Joyce just done another video with me and her. Oh, she recorded when I was there. Can you believe? It's only just over a week ago. It's unbelievable. A week ago right now, I wasn't even home. I was on a plane. I was on the plane still. It seems so much longer. Yeah, so I had to post a notice for that. And then I've had other things to do. Then I had to go through my preparations for the talk, which I haven't had time to do because I had the HPANWO show last night. By the time I finished, it was like 2 AM, and I was getting up in 2 hours, and so I lay in bed, gave up at 3:30, so I had no sleep at all last night, none. And so now I'll just have to make do as best I can. Maybe have 40 winks on the train. Yeah, I'm going to the station to get a train. It's the only way you can really do that. It's the only way you can really handle a journey like that in this time, unless you're going to stay another night overnight, which will cost more even than it would actually cost more than, no, if I was Charlie Veach, I'd be right over there, okay? But actually, it costs more to get a hotel than to get a hotel, so I decided to get the train early in the morning, so I'm heading there now, and this time all you can do is walk or get a taxi. That's the only way to get around Oxford. Good morning. Good morning. At this time in the morning. So yeah, I've decided to walk, be an ex-hospital porter and everything. I'm doing all right there. I did stop by I don't have any breakfast. I did stop by a little convenience store on the way, because it's supposed to be an all-nighter, but it's actually shut, so it's not an all-nighter. There you go. It was fine. My train leaves at 10 to 6. I've got plenty of time. Now, it's actually £90 return. Coming back sometime, so it's an open return, but I have to use it tomorrow. I've got I actually booked it online last night, and they said there's only two choices. If you book it online, there's no time to send it to me. Obviously, they can't post it to me. You can either use it with a GWR app, so I've got to get a Great Western Railway app, which I still can't remember what my Apple ID is. So it was too much. It was too late at night and too much bother to try and download the app. The alternative is pick it up from the station. Now they say as long as I've got the bank card I used to purchase it and a booking reference, which I have, it shouldn't be a problem. The problem is there'll be no ticket office open this time in the morning. They usually open around 7. So I've got to hope the machines work, because the only way I can get my ticket now is if the machines work. I've thought about maybe just buying the ticket in the morning when I arrived, but I mean maybe a bit of a faff. I'll probably have to leave a bit more time. Anyway, this is crossing Magdalen Bridge now. But yeah, I mean, now I'm gonna get there. I mean, technically I could have just gone later, because I'm the last speaker of the day. They tend to put, because I'm a bit of a roof raiser, I often end up speaking last. I'm glad I've got that reputation, actually, because you need a high energy speaker for the last session, and I'm glad I have the reputation. I often get booked as the last speaker. So that's my... So that's technically I don't have to arrive until I do my speech, which is at 4 p.m. But you know what? I just want to be there for the conference. I'm going to get there literally just when it opens, when it starts. I'll be literally arriving as the conference begins. And it's good. I need to get away from it, because unfortunately the Basis Project conferences, the Basis summer seminars have been cancelled. Miles had some problems and he couldn't do the seminars. So that was going to be on. Awake and Aware is still going. That's another one I'm going to. That's early next month. But the more I think I'll go to, the better. Because, well, I've been in a strange headspace this last week. I really have. For reasons, some of which you know part of the story, because it's in Ben in the desert. There's also personal reasons, which I won't bring up. But I have been in a very strange mood. And I've had very strange feelings. It's been a very odd and really quite unpleasant week that I've been through. It's almost like, actually, I almost feel like I've not come home. I left my home, went to the US, went to the conference and stuff like that, and I did all the things I did when I was over there, and I come back to a different place. It's rather like these theories about the Mandela effect. You may be familiar with the new theories related to the Mandela effect, which are that reality is constantly glitching, and that therefore very often this happens, quite common. You go out and you go to someone, it just is different, it feels different, and my home feels different. This could be because of me, it could simply be because of the mental state I'm in, or it might be that I have literally gone somewhere else. What happened to me when I was in the States was caused me to enter a new reality, because I'm here in Oxford. At the moment I got back, and I started work again, and I got back into my normal. I could not get back into my normal routine. I couldn't sleep properly. It was not just jet lag. I mean, it's still going on now, where I've been I've been sleeping longer in the afternoon than I normally do, because I often have an afternoon nap, because I've been sleeping through the alarm, and I've had to use my spare alarm clock to wake up, and then I'm waking up 3 a.m. every morning, can't get back to sleep, and everything feels different. I went into more details on the HPANWO show on Thursday, and I got a bit emotional in it as well, so I'm not going to do now. But I felt that, everything looks different, colours are different, things sound different, sounds are different, and smells are different. This place has a different smell. I'm not kidding. This place has a particular smell that it didn't have before. I keep getting it all the time. It's like when I went to Las Vegas and it had that kind of weird Las Vegas smell. It's like that. I don't know. I do actually wonder if these sort of smells are some kind of olfactory hallucination caused by just different feelings about a place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's actually quite nice. I'm glad I've left early, I think, because I want to experience the full conference. I want to experience as much of it as possible. So I want to get there for the very early start. And if my train isn't on time, it'll arrive in Newport at 8:25. I've already paid for my ticket, £90. It's about as cheap as trains get these days. That's a super off-peak return as well. If this was a weekday, it would be even more, because I'd have to get to a peak fare for going early in the morning. There's the old shot, the Turner painting. Although Turner makes the street look a lot wider in his painting. It's actually not that wide. But Turner would have stood about here when he did his little painting of Oxford High Street. Yeah, so it's quite warm actually. I might take this jumper. I've got my disclosure t-shirt on. As my talk is going to be kind of, I basically had to throw together a bloody talk out of nowhere. I got back from contact and I was like I said, I was all 6s and 7s and I couldn't focus. I didn't do the gas spanner or third rail, Sunday and Monday. That's coming up. I will do them. I'm doing the gas spanner tomorrow, third rail on Monday. But I was in this weird headspace. So I literally got to yesterday morning. I still had no idea what I was going to talk about. Luckily, I'm only on for an hour, and as long as I do at least half an hour's talk, I can then open it for Q&A. There'll probably be a lot of questions because I think there's going to be some controversy because with Ray speaking, she is a controversial. Her ideas are very controversial in ufology. You know, the Marshall Vine and Summer stuff. I did read one of the books she gave me. I can't say I really gel with it, to be honest. But it could be true. I entertain ideas without necessarily accepting them. So I'm going to I'm just going to call it the state of ufology or something like that. Now, the state of ufology is actually a name that many sort of like videos by the backslappers call it. Stephen Cambion has this thing called the state of ufology every so often. It is very much a backslapper kind of title, but it could have another meaning, simply talking about the state of the UFO disclosure process at the moment. It doesn't have to be who the circle jerking wackadoos are and the grifters, etc. So yeah, that's why. So I have put together. I kind of adapted it and shortened it from the talk I gave, the last talk I did for EA UFO before Tony died, and that it was called The Theory of Permanent Disclosure. That's what it was called. Yeah. So that is the one I've done. It's kind of a shorter version of that, really, with a few additions. I'm covering some of the latest news actually on the scene, so it should be interesting for people. As for book sales, I bought 2 books with me. I haven't ordered any more. They're both Roswell redeemed. The last one of the trilogy. I sort of pondered over whether to bother, but I'll bring them with me just in case someone wants to pick them up. I mean, it seems a bit dishonest, but the good news is they'll probably buy the other 2 if they read the last one. I would say you need to read the books. You really need to, I think, for the Roswell trilogy. So on my side, see, the thing is, I took 5 books with me stateside. I had two risings, one revealed, and 2 redeems. I sold the 2 risings to Joya and Lorien Fenton, and I gave my reveal to Terry Joyce and signed it for her. It's in the video actually. I've got to say another big thank you to Terry Joyce actually, because she's promoted my book twice now in her videos, so thank you, Terry, for that. The signed copy I gave her, and I'm left with the 2 redeems. So I need to order some more from the printers actually. I certainly will for Awake and Aware. So that's it. So yeah, I'm heading now for the station, which I should be down plenty of time, so hopefully there'll be some staff member to help me there. But oh god, the state of British Railways is like, when you compare it to that Amtrak train I was on, man, the comfort and the cleanliness and the big wide aisle. And it was a bit late, it was slightly late. But you know, the coaches waited for us at Bakersfield. Do you remember when we got to that place, Bakersfield, we switched to the replacement coach? And the announcer said, don't worry, they'll wait for us. I mean, why can't British Rail be like that? Why do we have to have the worst, shittiest trains? We invented the bloody railway. Now we've got the shittiest trains in the developed world. Oh, anyway. I'm not moaning, but I don't like train travel. I prefer coach travel, but it's just not practical if you're going for a short time to South Wales. Okay, I'm almost at the station now. There's Bill Clinton's Willie. These roadworks are still here. God, what are they doing? I mean, I joke about the crashed UFO, but you know, I mean, you viewers probably will know this better than me, because I've been recording these roadworks every time I come past here. But really, it's been 5 years? Surely not that long, since Botley Road has been shut. I mean, what are they doing? What's it going to be like when it's finished? What on earth takes sure, at least 3 years. What kind of road development works takes multiple years to complete? Anyway, here's the station. Again, there's a couple of buses there, but it's very quiet this time in the morning. Okay, I'm here on the platform now, and that's the train I want. I'm changing at Reading. Pretty early, it's good to almost 20 minutes early. And so that's where I'm going. When I get to Reading, I've got 10 minutes to change, and if the train's on time. And the train I want goes from platform 9, so I know where I've got to go now. But it's really quiet here. There's not much going on. I don't think I've ever seen the railway this quiet before. There's a train coming there. I wonder what that one is. There's a train with its lights on anyway. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I've got my earphones to keep me entertained. I'll put Stephen Cambion on, or maybe Coast to Coast. I tend to listen to radio shows rather than music. I've got some 14 Times to read as well. If I start reading, I'll probably just fall asleep. And I can't fall asleep on the it's annoying. It's annoying when you get insomnia. That, you know, it always wears off. When I can't sleep when I'm in a position where I could get sleep, like when I'm lying in bed at night, I can't sleep. The moment I have to get up for work, it wears off, and suddenly all I want to do is sleep. It's almost like my body's playing dirty tricks on me. That's what it feels like. And by the way, if you want more information on what I've been talking about when it comes to reality glitches, which I feel I'm experiencing, and this could be simply a result of the emotions I've been through over the last 3 weeks, which have been very intense. There's a really, really good resource actually, and I've even been playing their audios on the HPANWO radio. Is the Mysteria Archive. Now this is a YouTube channel, so I very much recommend the Mysteria Archive. Is this guy who he just does like videos, usually 15 to 20 minutes, covering a particular aspect of the paranormal, and he's done some really, really good ones on the Mandela effect and reality glitches, and he's actually quite skeptical. I must say his general position is pretty skeptical, but he's open-minded enough to think that the skeptical position might be wrong, which makes him very different from the mainstream skeptic movement. And I find he's very, very balanced. So in that way, he's a bit like, you know, AJ in the Y-Files. You know, he's sort of like 60-70% skeptic, but still open-minded and with a real passion and enjoyment of simply talking about the subjects, which I suppose is kind of Fortean, really. I think the whole Fortean ethos is simply an enjoyment of the fact that these ideas exist, whether they're true or false. There's something fun about them, and there is. I mean, they're very frightening as well, but yeah, fun. You could say fun. So please do check out the Mysteria Archive. Oh, I'm off. This train calls Didcot, but
the next station is Didcot Parkway.
But I mustn't get off till Reading. I think it's only this early in the morning. You can do 2 changes, just 1 change.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff.
That's it, Swansea and Carmarthen. That's the train I want. I'm here at Reading Station. A place which inspired me to write one of my rare poems. I don't write much poetry, but I wrote a poem about this place. Yeah, it's 6:31. The train's on time so far, and so yeah, things are so far so good. When I'm on the train, hopefully I'll be able to get some sleep. I'll set my alarm because the train goes all the way to Carmarthen, and I want to make sure I get off at Newport. It takes almost 2 hours to get to Newport from here, which means I should have time maybe just to have a nap. Because if I don't, I'm just going to be falling asleep in the conference, which will be really embarrassing. It'll be unfair to the other speakers because they'll think they're boring and things like that. So, but it's not like you can do. You can't force yourself to sleep, you know. Anyway, here we go. Hopefully I'll be me soon. The good thing about getting a train at this hour is it's almost empty. There's only about like half a dozen people in this coach, and I just realised that there's only one change, which is this station. Now, normally when you go on this route, you have to change twice. Didcot and Swindon, or Reading and Swindon. At least twice you have to change. Here you only got to change once. So, and there's only one stop, which is Swindon, and then it goes straight on through to Newport, through the Severn Tunnel into Wales and Newport. So that's one of the advantages of travelling this early, which I wouldn't have got if I travelled on a later service. Once I get to Newport, I'm going to have to get a taxi. It's 3 miles to the venue. So if I'm going to get there before it starts, I'll have to get a taxi. Alright guys, this is Gloucester. The train's taking a different route. I didn't know I was going to do this, but it was not originally meant to stop here, but Severn Tunnel is shut. So the train is basically going, if you look on a map you'll see it's going north. Obviously it must be crossing the River Wye somewhere further upstream to get into Wales. But anyway, I did sleep a little bit, so I'll try to sleep a bit more. Yeah, if you can't sleep, you know, just lying with your eyes shut. It's not as good as sleep, but it helps. It does help. Balchder ac i'r supportorion ysbyty a telwch y drefn newydd y byd. Croeso I dyledu HPANWO. We have now, I've lost my tripod. I think I left it either on the Oxford to Reading train or I left it on a platform. But to be honest, I mean, it'll be in lost property. It'll probably turn up in lost property, but to be honest, I think I need a new one anyway, a smaller one, like a mini tripod, one that can fit in my bag. But if you look over there, there's a bit of the sea, or a bit of the river there. We're in Wales now, so we're getting close now. Not having the tripod's going to be a bit of a bummer, but I'll do my best to film my talk without it. I'll find there may be a place I can put the camera where it's good in terms of visuals and framing and sound and things like that. Yeah. Reminds me of my trip to Hull. I remember disguises and things like that. Chepstow, so we're nearly there now. So nice. There's an old castle there. And the river, I think that's the River Usk. Nice. It's got the old-fashioned station, which I really like. With the old wrought iron parapet. What's on this side of our go? And there we go. Welcome everyone. They've got the Welsh Society Ffordd Allan way out. There you go. Okay, so now I've got to get a taxi now to take me to West Usk Lighthouse. Hopefully it's not too expensive. It's a very bumpy road along here. we're nearly there, I think. Guys, I'm here. And Russell has brought his little brothers there, you see. And so this is it. And that taxi driver, he was actually really interesting, that guy. He was the guy driving the taxi there. I put him in touch with Sufon because he's described his UFO sighting. This is it. This is the West Usk Lighthouse. Hey. Love the old flag up there, the red dragon. So here we are. This is the venue for the conference. It's a lovely spot here by the coast. It's a bit windy, but it'll be nice. It's lovely fresh air. Okay, well, I'm inside now. We're not actually in the lighthouse building. We're in this like marquee outside it. Sufon used to meet in places like this. So we're now waiting. I've only just arrived in time, really. They're going to start in a minute. So it's the first speaker coming up. And I've met Lorraine. Lorraine's over there. So you can see her there, just through the crowds. And I'll just have a word with Lorraine. And I met Danielle, the organiser. So I'll show you the stalls later. First speaker coming up soon. Oh my God! Look who's here. Which I hope it's Tom Baker. He was my favourite. But there is the TARDIS is here. Yeah, it's sort of lunchtime now. I'm trying to keep my eyes open. Interesting speakers. Chris Robbins talking about the serious mystery and water, and it's all very complicated. And then there was Lorraine Wilkins, who's just done a talk about the allies of humanity. I just come up here to just show you what it's like. They're having a little break at the moment, and we're right by the sea here. Look at this. Look at this. Hello. Hello.
Well, they left about 2 years ago.
And this is the lighthouse.
They were made for me. And they were made for me.
Apparently I'm not the only one who feels tired and suffers from a lack of sleep. A lot of other people have as well. This is strange. Oh, we've got there's another building here. I think that might be where I'm sleeping tonight, I'm not sure. But there's a fire pit. There's a little boat there, see? Oh, nice. It's lovely. It's actually a lovely spot here. It really, really is. There's a lady, it looks like Rita Panahi. And you can see right across it's often called the Bristol Channel, but we Welsh call it the Severn Sea. Because why would we name a stretch of water, a stretch of open sea, after the inland city in England? Very nice. Miles here has just informed me that the TARDIS is actually the bogs. Now that's a bit of a shock. Is that right, Miles? You've been in there?
I haven't been in there yet.
Alright, I'll go and have a look.
I should have picked up some food, because I don't think there's anywhere to get food for miles.
They did tell you to bring a packed lunch, yeah. I can wait till
I didn't see that.
Yeah, but not to worry. But anyway, yeah. But thanks for coming, Miles. It's good to see you.
I haven't a clue.
I think hopefully everywhere in the open air should be the smoking area, you know. Yeah, but I don't care. In the open air, who cares in the open air? You know, it's really draconian.
What dignity? Hey, did I see dignity?
Right, so I'm going to try and find the toilet.
On your sleeve there.
Yeah, nice.
Thunderbird. So if
Where's
you
the
look,
Thunderbird?
Oh yes, it's Thunderbird, the green
Two.
one.
They got the green.
that's
they have
Thunderbird
Thunderbirds
2.
Yeah, Thunderbirds are go here.
Where's that?
And I'll be talking in a moment on the healing power of standing stones, my latest research, and backdating a little bit to energy lines and how standing stones can change earth energy into aerial energy, and some of which is healing.
Oh, brilliant. So we all need a bit of that, don't we?
So, how do these standing stones stand up all the time? I mean, surely they must sit down on occasion. And with that, we leave it there.
That's a good question.
Miles, Johnstone.
Take a drink, don't you?
See that woman there? I thought that was David Wilcock. But it's not. It's a woman. I thought it was David Wilcock.
He would have security here. Did I tell you that I'm doing my thing? I'm David Will.
Everyone talk about me. And if you don't, I'll sue you. Yeah.
Just remember, David Wilcock.
All right. What's in this TARDIS then? Oh, it's Miles. It's Dr. Miles. It's about time we had a decent Doctor Who, because all the ones they've had lately are rubbish.
There's a Dalek over there. And over there, Flash Gordon, he's alive.
The best doctor we never had.
Just getting ready now. Everything here.
Apologies, I know I forget. You see, yeah, I should explain. I'm very drowsy at the moment. I couldn't sleep last night for some reason, so I'm not quite my usual self. Yeah, my name is Ben Emlyn-Jones. This is my website, Hospital Porters Against the New World Order. I was a hospital porter for 23 years. The portering Buddha, that's me. How I ceased to be a hospital porter is a long story, but it's very, very interesting indeed. That I have, all through the course of my life, I've come to realise that certain subjects, UFOs, the paranormal, government cover-ups of various kinds, are real. And not only real, they're the most important issues affecting our world today, and gaining an understanding of them has become a necessity. That's what I do. I'm going to go through this quite quickly because I really want to do Q&A with you guys, because I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions over what I've got to talk about. But I'm going to trigger Miles now and mention the R word. This was July the 8th, 1947. This particular headline appeared in the Roswell Daily Record. RAAF captures flying saucer on a ranch in the Roswell region. Not captures a unknown object or unknown craft or anything like that. It's very, very unequivocal and blunt. They've captured a flying saucer. This is before the term UFO came along. This story was essentially an act of disclosure with a capital D. Lasted just over 6 hours, and then a second paper was released. This is actually the July the 9th one, but it's the press release came out before then. General Ramey empties Roswell saucer. General Ramey of the 8th Army Air Force actually did a press conference in his office. Go forward a bit. There we go. And explained that the flying saucer was nothing more than a weather balloon. And this term weather balloon keeps coming up again and again and again. I should point out that there's nothing new about this. Now, Lorraine was talking about something that had been here for a certain amount of time, and she was talking about how the Allies had explained that there was this interaction going back about 100 years. There's been, I can't say for that specifically concerning the being she's talking about. There's no doubt there has been a non-human interaction with humanity that goes back much further. This is Madonna with St. John, the baby St. John, 15th century painting by Domenico Ghirlandaio. And there's this strange object there, you see, just over her shoulder. And there's a little, you can see it's clear, there's a man standing up staring at it like that, and his dog is doing the same. This is very, very interesting indeed. This is a church. This is a mural on the wall of a church in Timișoara, Romania. It can be dated very precisely because it's in German, because parts of Romania have changed languages over the years. They're Romanian today, but previously they were Hungarian. But today, this Timișoara actually went through a brief period where people spoke German, and so this is dated precisely to that German-speaking period. But you see, look, there's a disc-shaped object over that building, and this is even older. This is like about 30,000 years old in Australia. And these creatures, look, they're grey aliens. And now this is a photograph taken in 1935 in Frankfurt, Germany. Is that a Tic Tac? And this is an absolute exclusive. This is a photograph that's only recently been published in a book called UFOs over Romania by Dr. Dan Farkas. This is Sebeș Church. The church is still there today. But what is that? Look. What's that by the... It's a classic saucer by the spire. This photograph is over a century old. Isn't that incredible? And there, of course, is the General Rainey's office scene. Major Jesse Marcel was humiliated in front of the world press. She was very unfortunate for him. But even in the modern era, there have been more Roswells than just the one Roswell. I think Roswell is going to end up a common noun to refer to any of these kinds of UFO crash retrieval incidents. This is at Aztec, New Mexico, but not far from Roswell. It only happened a few months later, in March 1948. Someone's built a cairn there just to commemorate where the object actually came down. It's in the shape of an alien's face, and it's very, very precisely been marked. It's on this. This is a map here where the crash site was. Now this was published in a book by a guy called Frank Scully, nothing to do with Dana Scully of the X-Files, and it's supposedly been debunked by a lot of things that are debunked. It's these things have, I think, when you're debunking something, you're making a claim too, and these things can be wrong and they can be falsified. It's worth bearing in mind that something strange did happen there. A new road was built and a crane was erected. We know because the concrete base of the crane is still there. It's like they wanted to move something heavy. Makes you wonder what it was. Now, when we talk about the truth embargo, the secrecy, the UFO cover-up, whatever you choose to call it, it's kind of an infernal triangle between these different elements. For example, there's the extraterrestrials themselves on one corner, then we the people on the other, and then the government on the other side. And there is secrecy in all three of these axes. This infernal triangle. There's secrecy between the aliens and the people, between the people and the government and the aliens. All three of those relationships involve secrecy, involve deception, involve psychological operations. Now, for the sake of convenience, I'm going to cover only the bottom axis, that is between the government and the people. Each one of these sides of this triangle would really require a 2-hour presentation of itself. As it is, this is a very condensed version of the full presentation I give on this subject. UFOs, despite the fact they're still regarded as, to a certain extent, fringe and epiphenomenal, a bit of fun, frivolity, whatever, or even something sinister and dangerous and delusionary. That's changing, by the way. It's changing slowly. They are an absolute staple of fiction, and in fact, of the top 100, and the top 100 most popular movies of all time, among which is this, Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, about 40 of them have a UFO theme. Over a third of the most popular movies ever made have a UFO theme. So this, in terms of fiction, I mean, in terms of fiction, it's a very, very powerful and endemic archetype. Everyone knows what a UFO is. Everyone, whether you believe in them or not, they are a massive, massive part of our culture. And there's other examples. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Now, this figure, the character, the alien, has actually been sort of resurrected as a figure of fun in the tabloid press. I'll come to that later. There's another film by Steven Spielberg about a cute little alien. These two films were involving friendly aliens, where the aliens were nice guys, sweet, even cuddly, cute creatures, which are lovable, and you feel a huge amount of empathy for them. This film is very, very sentimental. But it's not always like that. This is an adaptation of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, the original alien invasion story. Tom Cruise there. This is a story about literally evil aliens coming down and attacking us in vast numbers. It's a classic novel. It's been adapted several times. Now, what do you do if you are the government and you want to keep this secret from the people, yet you can't actually cover it up? You can't actually prevent people from seeing what's in the sky. People are going to see it. People do it all the time. Right this moment, right now, someone is having an alien experience. I can absolutely guarantee that. You treat it with official ridicule and denial. And that's a quote. You just engineer society, culture, conventional psychology. You engineer that so that even though people will see it and you can't stop them seeing it, when they do see it, they'll be too ashamed to say anything or too embarrassed, because most people just think it's crazy. This is, we know that this was recommended because there is a memo dated July 1947, the same month as Roswell, from Admiral Roscoe Hillencutter, the first head of the CIA. And it says this, paraphrasing, we know these things are real, but we can't let people gain an understanding of this, so we have to treat it with official ridicule and denial so that the masses will reject it. Now, this policy lasted exactly 70 years and 5 months. How can I time it that precisely? Because it's exactly 70 years and 5 months after that, this is December 2017, that this was published. This picture, this article in the New York Times, and the subsequent interviews with the pilots, such as David Fravor and Alex Dietrich. These are, the footage was captured from gun camera footage from the aircraft, and it's become known as the Nimitz footage. It was actually filmed as long ago as 2004, but it was published in an article by Leslie Kane and Ralph Blumenthal. And they also revealed the existence of a sinister organization called ATIP, or ORSAP, depending on what you want to describe it as. And funnily enough, I do get the feeling there's something strange going on. The full-length version of this talk I call The Theory of Permanent Disclosure, because it sounds like this is all organized. It's something theatric about this. It's like different actors come and go, different players, different scenes. It feels like we are being shown a piece of theater, with the end result being some kind of revelation. This is not a photograph. Everyone thought it was. The photograph actually went missing. In August 1990, some hotel staff from Scotland, in a place called Pitlochry, went for a little walk at a local beauty spot called Calvine, and they came across a strange diamond-shaped object noiselessly hovering in the sky, being escorted by this Royal Air Force jet there. Now, there's been a lot of mystery over who they were and what it's all about, but that mystery broke, funnily enough, quite coincidentally close to several other issues that happened, because the original photo was found. This is the original photo, and as you can see, the artist's impression that you've just looked at was actually quite a good likeness. This is the original photo. Everyone thought this was lost. Everyone thought it was, even Nick Pope. It came, just popped up very, very suddenly with this guy, Craig Lindsay. He'd been the RAF press officer, and he dealt with the case back in 1990. And he had to hand over all the prints because there was a D notice slapped on it by the Ministry of Defence. But so amazingly, he kept one print by accident. He actually slipped it inside a book, and he kept it on his shelf. It's amazing. This wasn't some kind of dead drop to Julian Assange. It was sitting for 32 years on his bookshelf, just tucked into the pages of a book. And then he was talking to Dr. David Clark, a guy who studies UFOs at the Sheffield Hallam University, and he happened to mention, "Oh, I've got one of those. I've got a photograph of one of those things somewhere. Let me go and have a look." And he did, and it was there. And is that a coincidence? And what's more, this is the program by James Fox. Who's seen this? Anyone seen this? It's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's great. Do watch it if you get the chance. He actually manages to track down some of the witnesses and interviews them. And funny enough, just a few months after this happened, in February 2023, we got Balloon Gate. Do you remember this? This was the Chinese balloon. Now, this is obviously an electronic intelligence gathering platform. It flew over the United States. When China was confronted with this, they denied it, and they said, oh, no, it's just gone off course accidentally. And guess what? It was a weather balloon. Again, a weather balloon. Now, what happened in what happened was the government actually let it fly right over the United States, doing its job, and then when it reached the sea at Myrtle Beach, North Carolina, they popped it. They fired a fragmentation missile at it and blew it up. They wanted to make sure that it came down in just the right place. They didn't want it to fall on land because it could hurt someone. But they didn't want it falling too far out to sea where it would sink without trace. They made sure it came down in shallow water where it could be salvaged. Everyone thought, well, that's the end of the matter, but it wasn't, because literally just a couple of weeks later, it was announced that another object had been shot down, and this time they didn't say what it was. They didn't say what the object was. They didn't say it was a balloon. They literally said it was an object. And it was shot down over the Beaufort Sea in Alaska, just off the north coast of Alaska, and where probably you might think, well, no one actually was there to witness it, apart from the military person who picked it up. That's not true. There was a witness, a very, very important witness. But the point to remember is that the Beaufort Sea in early March is frozen over. It's actually ice, and you can walk on it. You can even drive a vehicle on it quite safely. So it essentially was like picking something up on land. So it's an object, and it was really weird. The press conference, John Kirby, Biden's DNI, he was going like, "Oh well, he was even describing it. It's the size of a small car, and but he wouldn't say what the designation was." And guess what? Literally a few days later, another object was shot down. This time over Yukon, Canada. This is Anita Anand, Canada's Minister for National Defence, and General Wayne Eyre, who is Chief of the Canadian Defence Staff, giving a press conference. And again, she even says it's cylindrical, it's 12 feet long, and she describes it, how it looks. She describes what it's like. It's a really weird, very, very surreal kind of incident. This, if you don't watch it on YouTube, you'll blow your mind. It really, really would. What the hell is she talking about? But the people are actually asking, is it a balloon? Is it a helicopter? She says, we're just going to call it an object. And it didn't end there, because there was yet another one, this time over the Great Lakes. An object crashed was shot down. This time it's described as a sphere inside a square. It was shot down, crashed into Lake Huron. And this time it's on the very deep water, about 700 feet deep, which means a salvage operation is possible, but very, very difficult indeed. But before we know, it might have been done. This is the witness. Now, this is a very, very important individual. He's a young chap who works at the Prudhoe Bay oil refinery, just off the coast of Prudhoe Bay, just off the coast of the Beaufort Sea, and he saw it all happen. He saw transport aircraft arriving at a nearby airfield, vehicles driving out onto the ice over the horizon. He saw lots of vehicles, lots of soldiers. It was obviously a crash retrieval, but this wasn't for just some weather balloon or even a spy balloon. This was something much, much more serious. Now, he put all this on TikTok and YouTube. Well, I don't know what happened to him, because his TikTok and YouTube have been deleted. And this guy, he's called Backcountry Alaska. That's his username. He's vanished. No one knows where he is. And luckily, his videos have been mirrored quite significantly. So you can find this if you want to. It's all over the place. Yeah, is this where we are at now? This is the surreal kind of nature of this situation, which honestly, I as a ufologist for many, many years, as I said, I've always had an interest in this. I've been serious probably since the mid-90s. I could never imagine this could happen in 10 years, 2 years, or anything. Now we're in this kind of this back to front kind of weird, kind of like the government's dropping hints. The government wants us to know this, but they don't want us to know that. They're obviously playing some kind of game with us. And for what? Just when you thought things couldn't get any weirder, David Grush comes forward and he does his interview with Ross Coulthart. on News Nation. This guy, he basically, what David Grush actually said, when you boil it down, is that everything we conspiratorial ufologists have been talking about since 1947 is essentially true. Everything. The aliens are real, UFOs are real, it's all real, and he knows about it. And he wasn't the only one, there were others as well. And then there's this, now this is, I don't know why I wasted, I felt guilty spending the money on this. This is the Daily Star. UFO crash cover, hushed up by the Pope, and there's the E.T. the Extraterrestrial from the Steven Spielberg movie with the Pope's might. This actually refers to something else that David Grush revealed. Well, he didn't reveal it, he said that it was true. Someone else, a guy called Roberto Panotti, actually revealed it. In 1933, there was a crash retrieval in Lombardy, Italy, and near the town of Magenta, a craft came down and was salvaged by the government. There's a very, very good, there's a good article. It's an hour and a half's read, but it's worth checking out. You can get it online. It's got an unforgettable title: "The Fascist UFO Files." Normally I'd spend more, I could explain more, but I want to get through this. And then there was, literally just a few months later in July, there was this hearing in the US Congress. And you have here David Fravor, David Grush, and Ryan Graves, another US Navy pilot, swearing swearing with their hand on the Bible, on their oath, that they will tell the truth. Now, when this happened, I actually watched it. I watched it live. I really thought that they would tone it down a bit, especially David Grush. I thought he's not going to repeat the stuff he said on News Nation to Coulthard. No way. He won't be as explicit, because he's now under oath. If he lies to Ross Coulthard, Coulthard's just a reporter on some 3-digit news channel. This is the US Congress, and he's under oath. If he lies to them, he's committing perjury. And he could end up with, I think the maximum penalty is 8 years in prison. So, yeah, I thought he's going to tone it down a bit, but he didn't. He repeated exactly what he said to Coulthard in the News Nation interview. And then, more recently, literally just within a couple of months, we've got these large parts of the world, certain regions such as New Jersey or Norfolk in this country, have been suddenly inundated by what has been called drones. And anyone who looks into this will soon realise that the drones is just the new weather balloon. It's the new swamp gas. These objects are not drones, but just for a few months, there were huge numbers of them in all over the place. And it was really, really weird. There's loads of footage and photographs like this of things that are obviously not drones. Sure, some drones actually appeared because the drone operators thought it'd be fun to join in, so they started flying their drones in these areas as well. It's kind of copycat thing, in like the man-made crop circles. They just copycat the real phenomenon for fun. And guess what? Steven Spielberg. Now, I talked about Close Encounters and E.T. Now, I have a 20th anniversary DVD of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It has a number of bonus features, including an interview with Steven Spielberg, where he says, basically at the time, that is 1997, that he couldn't make Close Encounters or E.T. today because he'd lost his interest in UFOs. Well, something has rekindled it, because this is Steven Spielberg's untitled UFO film. This is really, really weird. I've never seen this happen before in cinema, where a film it's not even released. They haven't turned over a single frame. It's still in pre-production. And they give a release date, and they start releasing working titles. They called it The Dish, and they called it Disclosure. And there's publicity shots from the shoots. They're inviting an audience to come and watch it being filmed. They've released a cast list. It's got Emily Blunt. It's got Colin Firth. This is for a film that's not even been finished. Normally, studios don't talk about a film until literally just a few months before it's released. You get like the publicity build-up to the premiere and things like that, and then you get the reviews. You get the critics are allowed to watch it, and they'll publish the reviews. But this has broken all those rules. Now, why has Spielberg broken all those rules? Well, clearly, we know it's about UFOs, so we know that something has rekindled his interest. Or does he know something we don't? Has someone told him something that we don't? No. And they said, Stephen, just say as much as you can about this now, because I'll tell you what, this iron is going to be very hot when you strike it. Ron James, the head of MUFON, also a filmmaker. I actually saw him live at Contact in the Desert a couple of weeks ago. He says he thinks this film is going to contain some real UFO footage, and at the end of the movie, there's going to be some announcement that it's real and aliens are real. And Spielberg will go down in history, not only as a highly accomplished and expert and talented filmmaker, but as this revolutionary figure who actually did disclosure with a capital D. So are we going to see this? I mean, is it literally going to be this simple? We get this guy, Trump, coming out on stage and saying, I'm here to tell you today that UFOs are real and aliens are real. But we didn't tell you, but we're telling you now. Well, knowing him, he'll probably say, well, it will be when I sign an executive order, and only then will it be real. Or, you know, from our own perspective, we might have this person, what's his name? I've forgotten his name. Keir Starmer, yes, God. Not the most memorable Prime Minister in the world, is he? Are we going to see the same thing with him? He's going to come out with number 10 and say, good morning, everybody. My name's Keir Starmer, and I'm the Prime Minister. And I'm going to talk to you about something interesting today. Yes, yeah, aliens are real. We didn't tell you, but we're telling you now. Could it really be that simple? Because that's the scenario envisaged by Stephen Bassett. Or what about if that doesn't happen? If this process doesn't go through, or it is hampered, which is looking, unfortunately, quite likely, will we get catastrophic disclosure? This is actually a new film. I've got to see this actually. Now, what is catastrophic disclosure? Now, it obviously implies something bad. It's because the word catastrophic is a very pejorative term. What it means, what all catastrophic disclosure means, is that the information is released to the public in a decisive way outside the normal chain of a revelation, of officialdom. That's all it means. It means that somebody on the inside breaks the rules and approaches the media and succeeds in divulging the information in a way which is beyond the control of the authorities, who believe that they are the ones who have to reveal it to us. Now, that's not necessarily bad. I mean, when it comes to the Q&A, if you disagree, we can talk about it. Or is it all a load of nonsense? Now, how many of you heard of this? This actually came up earlier. The gentleman with the purple shirt on the third row actually brought this up. And so I wanted to mention that to you. We talked about it, didn't we? Yeah. The Wall Street Journal has just published an article saying that, all this stuff about UFOs, it was all invented by the CIA. They created it because they wanted to distract people's attention and confuse people who were getting too close to the truth about the secret spy planes they were developing, and they wanted to launder more down-to-earth secrets. And so they said, what we'll do is, we can't cover these things up because people are going to see these stealth bombers flying through the sky. So what we'll do is, if they say, oh, I just saw an alien spaceship, we encourage it. Yeah, you saw an alien spaceship. It wasn't a stealth bomber. Okay. Even better, let's actually put fake UFO information out there. And then people will be latching onto this. They'll become obsessed with aliens, and then therefore our secret spy planes the secret's buried even deeper, but even more confusion and even more distraction. And now this was revealed in the Wall Street Journal as some kind of bombshell. In fact, you're Stephen Greenstreet. You've heard of him, haven't you, Georgina? Yeah, he's just done a 20-minute interview with this guy who said, yes, that's right, it's all true. We just made it all up. There's no such things as UFOs. It's a piece of engineered neo-mythology which serves the purpose that we created it for. Now, this has been described as something like revelatory, but it's not. It's actually completely and utterly cliche, well known, and has been discussed many times before for decades. Let's say, if you want to chill, I recommend some books. Now, this is Mirage Men by Mark Pilkington. Area 51 by Annie Jacobson. These books, their central thesis is wrong, but it's really, really important. Wake up, Miles! Wake up! Oh, okay. Yeah, Miles is always recommending this book. Mark Pilkington's Mirage Men. Yeah, and but so there's nothing new about this. It's actually within ufology. It's actually quite a fashionable idea. So when the Wall Street Journal says, this is a world exclusive, and Stephen Greenstreet jumps on that bandwagon, no one's ever mentioned this before. It's not true. It's not true. Now, I don't agree with this. As I said, the central thesis of this book is wrong. What they're just saying is, well, we're going to distract people away from something by drawing their attention towards it. It's like a bank robber. You know, two guys rob a bank. One of them buries his stash underneath a tree in the middle of the woods. He makes a note of where the tree is and he goes away. He doesn't tell anyone. The other guy doesn't do that. He buries his stash, then he puts on a striped jersey and a cloth cap and a face mask, and he jumps on top of it like this. And every time a policeman comes past, he says, "Oh, Mr. Policeman, hello, yeah, over here. Look at me, right? There's no buried money here from a bank robbery, just unicorn bones. Okay. Which of those two stashes is going to be found first? Which of those two bank robbers is going to be found first? No. What Pilkington and others are talking about, and Pilkington brought this up 25 years before the Wall Street Journal and Stephen Greenstreet, right? What they're actually describing, although they don't know it, is a very elaborate double bluff. I think it's a double bluff that's designed to try and put Congress off, because the Wall Street Journal is behind a paywall. Huh? You know, most people don't read it. It's designed to put people off, distract their interest of not of normal people, but of Congress. It's all people like Anna Paulina Luna and Jerry Moskowitz and all these people who are really interested in UFOs. They want, the keepers of this secret want them to feel embarrassed and be real, and make them think they've made a mistake. It's a double bluff. Don't fall for it. And now, why? People say, well, why is there this secrecy? Well, I don't have time to go into this, but it's got a lot to do with the oil industry, energy. My book has more details about that. But I think people behind behind conventional energy supplies will not be happy if, for example, we've worked out how these UFOs work from studying them. We've managed to calculate their power source. We managed to their propulsion systems and realise it runs off free energy, which we could use. We could adapt it and use it if it's possible. If that's the case, these guys won't be happy, will they? They'll have to go back to making candles. Shell candles. They smell nice. They're pretty colours. They won't stain your wallpaper. But forget burning oil for fuel, and that's over. No way. Now, in 1959, an article was released by the Brookings Institute, which is an American-based think tank. It was released to NASA and to the Soviet Space Agency, and it didn't specifically demand a cover-up, but it said, if you discover alien life, even artifacts from long ago, in terms of intelligent alien life, it may not be a good idea to shout it on the rooftops. In terms of like just culture and society and the church, will these things survive? You know, it might cause upheaval. So when this appeared on the planet Mars, this face in 1976, when it was discovered by the Viking probe, they said, "Oh, it's a load of nonsense. It's nothing." And this was suppressed. The information on this was suppressed. Because it's not just this face, which you could explain as an odd-shaped rock. I mean, there may be some in the garden that look like faces here. But it's surrounded by other objects which are also clearly artificial. Or what about the military side of things? This is the Right Honourable Paul Hellyer. Now, he was the Minister of National Defence for Canada, long before Nand. I bet he was better than Nand. Now he really came out of the closet at the age of 95 and said, I believe in UFOs. And he began a nationwide or global tour. He was actually writing a book. I don't know if it was ever finished, because sadly he passed away a couple of years later at the age of 97. And what's really weird is when this guy died, right, the ufological press wrote lots of obituaries for him. But in the mainstream Canadian media, there was not one mention of him. He was not eulogized at all. This is really odd because he's actually one of Canada's most senior statesmen. He's the longest sitting member ever of the King's Council, which is the most senior chamber of the Canadian Parliament. Odd that, isn't it? He's holding a copy of Where Did the Towers Go by Dr. Judy Wood, which, to cut a long story short, suggests that some of this ET technology, or something like it, has been turned into a very deadly weapon. And that could be that the technology has been turned into some kind of weapon, and therefore they're not keen on sharing it. And that maybe they're afraid of the public reaction. It's not just the secrets they've kept. It's the fact they kept the secrets in the first place. Are we going to be like these South Parkers, grabbing our torches and pitchforks? And well, some of us might, others won't. Others will just shrug their shoulders. But you can bet that every single moment in the dark boardrooms where these bureaucrats meet to decide what on earth they're going to do, how they're going to handle this situation, these questions, all the questions I've raised, will be going through their head from their point of view, which is, we need to keep control of these two-legged farm animals. That's how they regard us. How are we going to do it? How are we going to tell them the truth, well, without losing control of this situation? There's been many, many meetings like that describing that. There's more. I mean, what's going on at Area 51? I mean, there's political implications for this. There was a lawsuit in the 90s by some guys who served up there. And one of them, they were sick because of the chemicals they were exposed to. That's just the start. That's just a minor side of these things. This is actually an image that I did, which is actually based on a scene in my book, Roswell Rising, a novel of disclosure. Available at all good bookshops now, price £10. Because you see, this is New York City, and there's like a flying saucer up there. And this is not unlike... This is a good film, 1956, The Earth versus Flying Saucers. It's a kind of more up-to-date version of War of the Worlds. Very sophisticated for its time. Obviously researched well. The people obviously did look at the people making this. Obviously, the production design. Obviously, they actually talked to people who study UFOs. And there's a more up-to-date. There's an even more recent film called Independence Day, 1996. Now, this is by Roland Emmerich. Now, anyone seen this? Anyone not seen it? You're lucky. It's actually an appalling film. It's really bad. It's dire, but it's worth seeing just so you can understand the propaganda. In terms of the propaganda in this film, I'll show you a few more shots from this movie. Let's see. There's these. There's the alien ship appearing above a city. These are the creatures that fly in these sort of disgusting mutant oinks, which are the beings in their face. Look, this is not some cuddly Ewok, is it? This isn't like the little sweet creatures that come out of the mothership in Close Encounters and dance around holding people's hands. No. That's something to be feared. It's something evil. It's something frightening. And indeed, their actions in the film are exactly like that. It's like War of the Worlds. Now, the actual, it's not a very intellectual film, I must say. It's very simplistic, it's very monolithic. And I think it's probably no offense, but it's probably designed to be absorbed by people who probably don't have very high levels of intelligence or analytical abilities. But there are obviously people who, the makers of this film, I believe, want them to think and feel in a certain way, possibly because they will react in a certain way when something happens in the future. I should point out there's the perfect antidote. There's a perfect antidote to this film. It's called Mars Attacks by Tim Burton. It's actually a parody of The Earth versus Flying Saucers. And it's brilliant. It's hilarious. It's one of the funniest films I've ever seen. And it came out the same year, so if you watch Independence Day and you're reaching for the sick bag, just watch Mars Attacks. It'll make you feel a lot better. He's blowing up the White House there. And there's blowing up the Empire State Building. So you've got to ask the question, if disclosure is inevitable, what can the government do? What spin doctor can possibly dig them out of this terrible PR hole they've dug themselves into? You know, not just the fact they kept the secrecy, but they're going to have to admit they lied to us, not for our benefit, a great detriment to us. They lied to us for their benefit. The world could have been a much better place if they just come clean from the beginning, which is the purpose, which is actually the central theme of the Roswell trilogy, this series of fictional novels I've written. Maybe just whether or not the aliens are bad, what if they just tell us they're bad? Because then they've got a perfect excuse. They can then say, well, that's why we didn't tell you, because we've been engaged in a secret war against these hostile extraterrestrials. But it's more sinister than that. It's worse. Because over the course of my life, personally, I've come to see there's a general trend in politics. There's a tidal set, and it is towards greater internationalism and authoritarianism. This has been going on for as long as I've been observing it. That's why I'm interested in the government cover-ups of other things, not just aliens and UFOs. This is also the perfect opportunity for them to say, Ronald Reagan, 1986, he said, think how quickly our differences would be cast aside if we were faced with a threat from beyond this earth, an alien threat. Maybe someone's actually listened to him and they can say, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we're going to come clean. We're going to come clean, aliens are real, and we didn't tell you. We're sorry about that. The reason we didn't tell you is because we didn't want to give away intelligence to the enemy, because these are hostile aliens who want to destroy us. And we must come together as one. We must put aside our petty squabbles. And we must unite as a human force together. Therefore, I'm declaring an international state of emergency to save the planet from the evil aliens. All nation states will be disbanded. All civil liberties will be suspended. We don't want to do this, but we have to save our planet. And then when this threat has been removed, the power that we have taken from the people, we will return to the people. Honest. Promise. So that's something we've got to be on our guard against. Now, I'm not going to assume that's the case. You could say, well, it may be safer just to assume that no matter what. But I don't think it is. Because, you know, if we're wrong about that, we have a lot to lose. Because if this is a push for willing disclosure, that's an opportunity we can't afford to miss. So in my view, I suggest we tread that narrow path between excessive naivety and excessive cynicism. And maybe that way we can achieve confirmation, as it's called, just them telling us these things are real, disclosure with a little d, and maybe even disclosure with a big D. Now, I've written some books. This is Roswell Rising, a novel of disclosure. It's fictional, but it's about this sort of thing. It's like an allegorical fiction. And it has a sequel, Roswell Revealed. And then finally, the last part of the trilogy, Roswell Redeemed. Now, unfortunately, I only have 2 copies. Oh, sorry, I've got 2 copies left of the last 2. I sold all the others at Contact. But they're £10 each if anyone wants them, and I can sign them for you. So they're yours if you want them. But I'm curious to see if you've got any questions or comments. Madam.
What's your opinion about the Project Bluebeam?
My opinion of Project Bluebeam. Yeah, Serge Manasse. Sorry? If it exists. Well, it was proposed by someone called Serge Manasse, the Canadian journalist, literally just a short time before he died of a heart attack in a police cell. He did suggest that it takes us back to the fake alien invasion I was talking about. He said he may have uncovered the method by which it could be done, which is the ability to project realistic three-dimensional images into the sky. I should point out whether or not he was actually telling the truth or not, whether that's accurate or not from his point of view. That technology does exist. I've actually seen it. I saw it at Thorpe Park. They were basically creating like an image in the. They just all you need is like a laser and some kind of medium, which could be a cloud of smoke or steam, and you can create a very, very realistic looking, three-dimensional, solid looking image in the sky. So it could be an alien spaceship or something. Yeah. Anyone else? Milesy.
Ralph Noyes taught Project Bluebeam in the early 90s.
Right, Ralph Noyes. Okay, thanks, Miles.
It's before your time, then.
Well, yeah. Well, I was.
Where's my check?
I was still, even when I was a kid, I used to watch Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World, so I would have probably been interested if I'd heard about it. But thanks, Miles. Anyone else? Any more questions or comments? No? Well, thank you for your attention then, everyone. Come and get a book if you want. I've only got 2 left. So roll up and I'll sign them for you and then keep them safe because they'll be worth a lot of money in a few years. So thank you very much. I'm Ben Emlyn-Jones. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you very much, Ben. That was most informative.
The conference is over and I'm absolutely exhausted. We're going to go and get a meal. I haven't eaten all day. Miles is going to give me a lift to this pub. It's called Emlyn. Yeah. So that's where we're going to go next. Alright guys, I'm in the Miles mobile with Mr. Miles and we're just sort of heading
doing 8 miles an hour here.
We're going down this very bumpy road. The taxi almost turned back because he thought it might damage the taxi. The driver who saw a UFO. We're going to a pub called Emlyn, which is like a certain distance from here. A place I've never been to before. Never been to anywhere around here before.
3.6 miles, it'll take 9 minutes.
Right, okay, yeah. That does include having to go very slowly along this very bad quality road here. But anyway, that was interesting. Maria was probably the most surprising speaker because she'd said that Richard Hoagland and her had been talking. Apparently there's megaliths on the moon now.
Yeah, and that's just a little bombshell. And here's a photograph of them, comparing them with the megaliths.
Is this the way out?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible bombshell. I knew there were strange objects on the moon, but I didn't think they were like megaliths.
Okay. Do not argue.
Okay, there is a tractor coming. We're going to back out. Let them give tractors the right of way. It's like when you're in Kenya and elephants come along, you know. All right, guys. Here we are. We had dinner at the pub, but now we're just watching the skies. Some ships out to sea. There's a few ships out there. It's a bit nice. It's a bit too smoky where I was sitting before. But I'll show you the place I'm staying in here later on. But just have a look around now. There's a bit of a light over there. See if I can zoom. It's very, very dim though. Nice. I think that might be. Oh, it's just a bit of cloud. I think it's just a bit of cloud, but a slightly pale cloud. It's a bit better than that. This is better than the Skywatch that was at Contact because there's fewer people and it's kind of like you've got the sea here and it's a bit nicer.
Yeah, where did you go for that?
It's Contact in the desert. It's a place called Indian Wells, which is in California, USA.
Oh, you went there?
Yeah, it's a conference, a bit like yours, but much bigger. It's a bit much bigger. Yeah, it's very nice. I had a great time.
Yeah, travel there.
It's a long way to go. Yeah, it's a long journey, but it's worth it, I'd say.
Were you one of the speakers?
Sorry?
Were you one of the speakers there?
No, I'd love to speak there if they invited me, but no, I just went along. I was a delegate.
Oh, and you went all the way to America. How much were they charging?
It was it was not that much. It's £300 for the 6 days.
Oh, well, good.
For the 5 days, it's not bad. It's pretty cheap. I mean, of course, you've got to travel. If you've got to travel a long way, it's expensive. And
Where is it? Where was it?
Indian Wells, a place called Indian Wells.
No, I mean, where is that?
Sorry.
I know it's in America, but where is it?
It's California.
Yeah, which part?
It's the city of Los Angeles. It's not far from there. It's you've got to get a coach.
Is that where that goes for?
Sorry.
Where's that? I mean,
It's a conference.
conference.
Contact in the Desert.
Contact in the Desert.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's a really good fun conference, a bit like this one, but much bigger. There's over 2,000 people there. It was a wonderful atmosphere. We did a little sky watch. We went out onto this back lawn where the hotel was, and we did this sky watch. And there was like 200 people there. It's really cool. It's not as this is nicer though because it's smaller and it's not. There's less background noise and light.
Archie, come.
It's getting darker now. It reminds me of when we went sky watching in Pembrokeshire. Do you remember? That was the Welsh Triangle video. I was like, which one of them? I made 2 or 3. I went sky watching in Pembrokeshire, and it's getting darker now because in this country, this time of year, you know, it's coming up. It's 10:30 at night, but there's still some glow in the sky. Again, it's not like this at Contact. It was pitch dark at Contact by now. Had been for several hours, but the sky's empty. The thing is, I haven't seen any aircraft or anything either. It's just been completely blank. We may not be under an airway here, so you don't see. I did see some chemtrails earlier, but they've gone now. This indicates there were high-flying aircraft in this area. There's a light, and I think that is a real lighthouse over there, or a modern one, because the one this one is behind me. It's actually not a lighthouse. It's like an old lighthouse. It used to be. It has a light up. I don't think that's like a navigation light. That's a decorative light. I'm curious to see what happens because one of these ladies was telling me that last year they saw a big black triangle really close near the surface of the sea, just there near the surface of the water, and it sort of came up quite close and then it disappeared. So yeah, let's hope that comes back tonight. If it does, I'll have my camera ready for it. Well, we've got like a glow on the horizon over there. I don't know if you see it. I don't know what it is, but there's a distinct glowing feeling. Yeah, not sure what that is. It's probably like maybe it's a lighthouse in the distance. I'm not sure.
No, because the lighthouse. No, the lighthouse would go dark, wouldn't it? Then it would come back light again.
It would flicker. Yeah. Very strange.
Minehead.
We're just having marshmallows now. It's gone 11 o'clock. It's completely dark. I've seen a few planes going over. Nothing more than that. Okay, guys, it's about 11:30. I had a little nap earlier, but I'm still very tired, so I'm going to go to bed, and I'll do the full room tour in the morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's about 7:30. I've just woken up, and look, what an incredible view. The tide's gone out since last night. That's where we were sitting there by the fire pit doing the sky watch, and look at that. What a view. That is the Severn Estuary, Severn Sea, whatever you want to call it. I refuse to call it the Bristol Channel. We Welsh, you know, we resent this stretch of ocean between ourselves and southwest England being named after an inland British city, an inland English city to be more precise. The Severn Sea on a beautiful Sunday morning. I'll go out and have a look later. I just need a cup of tea. I'm just enjoying my morning cup of tea here on this lovely little hut, this little beach hut here where I've been staying. I'll show you inside later. But there's it looks like the remains of a lifeboat there that's been turned into something. There's another boat there. There's a Thunderbird like thing around here somewhere. And of course you've seen the TARDIS, which you can just see here. I'll show you where I am, give reference to where I was yesterday. There's the TARDIS, there's the lighthouse, and behind there is the marquee, where that's where we had our little shindig yesterday. Oh god, we've got the bat killers, haven't we? Yeah. But anyway, it's a lovely spot, a beautiful area to have a conference from, you know, probably second only to High Elms Manor. And by the way, I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm going back there next month, so stand by for a video reportage of that. In the distance there, you see that in the distance is Somerset. Over there's places like Cleveland, Weston-super-Mare, Minehead, all the way along there, across the sea. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. Didn't see any UFOs last night, but who cares? And the tide has gone out since last night. Looking around this decking, which is nice, there's deck chairs and there's a barbecue. It's a kind of like a self-catering place. I'll show you the inside in a minute, but then I came across this. It's a piece of whalebone. It's a piece of, this is a vertebra from inside the spine of a whale. It's just sitting here, so maybe it's not real, it's got this slot on it, maybe it's just I think maybe it's just like a kind of fiberglass model, but I don't know. It's that to me is rather macabre. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's because I have a kind of sentimentality when it comes to whales and dolphins. I can't bear, like, for example, whale hunting and whaling and stuff. It's weird, but last night Chris Robbins, the first speaker yesterday, he talked about like the Sirius and how it was a layer of various lights and there was a black hole in the middle, and he said that was like the eye of a whale. And he said that, funny enough, there's a scene in Roswell Redeemed, that because the two books, I brought 2 copies with me because that's all I had left after what I sold or gave away at Contact in the Desert. Well, I sold 2 to people and I gave 1 to Terry Joyce as a present, and that left me with 2 redeems. I sold 1 of them yesterday. But there's a scene where a man is looking into the eye of this whale, and someone here actually said that they had a beached whale here, like a big 60-foot whale beached itself, which happens unfortunately quite a lot these days. Maybe whether that's to do with solar flares and the Earth's magnetic field or military technology, it's still a terrible thing. And he said he went down there and he looked, and this whale opened its eyes, and he said he made eye contact with this whale lying on the beach, and then it died. And it's like, it's just kind of it's horrible. I mean, it's sad, but it's kind of like poignant. It's kind of like meaningful, because he said he had like this spiritual connection with the whale, like my character in the book. And it just seems strange. There was that. This came up after Chris Robbins' talk, that he talked about astrology and things like that. So I didn't make any notes for the speakers, so I'm not going to do a speaker review. And I come here and I find this. I mean, obviously, it's whether it's real or not, I think, is important. But I don't think it is. I think it's just a model, but it strikes me as a somewhat ghoulish piece of decoration. I've had a cup of tea and coffee, listening to old Stephen Greenstreet. I must be nuts. But this is my room. Now I'll show you from the outside. It's like this little. It's a beach hut, basically. Look, I'll show you it. I showed you a bit yesterday, but look, it's this little beach hut beside the lighthouse. And I say deck chairs, and there's this is more suitable decoration than the whalebone, I think. It's life belt. And you come in here, and there's a lovely 4-poster bed. And look at the lights there. It's all got a very nautical theme. There's your Rosemary Ellen Guy Lee portal to hell. And look, everything's got kind of nautical theme. There's a Turner seascape there, and buried treasure chest and ships. And look, and there's another one here, a ship there again. And look, now this is a Vogue. That's an old picture of the lighthouse when it used to be a real lighthouse, a working lighthouse. I mean, that's amazing. And this is the toilet here, and it all looks kind of like brassy and like things you get on a ship. And over this side, the shower's separate, and it's over here. I haven't had a shower. look in here. There's your psycho. It's got both. It's got a psycho shower and a handheld shower, which is good. It's nice. It's got a nice old-fashioned feel to it. It's really, really lovely. And yeah, it's as you can see, it's kind of got a self-catering vibe to it. There's a fridge, oven, and you can cook your own food, do your own washing up, etc., etc. Look at that lovely brass there, anchor and ship and stuff. Yeah, I'm really glad I stayed. It's really nice of Danielle and Frank to put me up in this place, and they did ask me if I wanted to stay the night, and I said yes. And so they give me this love. I wasn't expecting this, you know. I was expecting like a little spare room, but they put me in this lovely little flat here. This lovely little self-catering apartment with, well, the greatest view imaginable. Oh yeah, the cows over there going moo, or as Sabina Hossenfelder would say, moo. Gott in Himmel. And this is where we were last night doing the Skywatch. No aliens appeared, but who cares? And over there there's the symptoms of modernity. We've got a power station there of some description using fossil fuels, and the only official replacement of fossil fuels, wind turbines. Yes, seeing as Nikola Tesla's technology is still classified, but maybe not for much longer. So that's kind of symptom of all that illustrated on this otherwise beautiful piece of coastline. Yeah, lovely. I've had a lovely, I slept like a bloody Rip Van Winkle, as you can imagine, because after I didn't film as much as I would have, and we went to this pub called Myrene, which is nearby, and had a meal, which I didn't film much of. I was just too tired, and I was driving back with Miles. He dropped me off here, and I was like literally like falling asleep in the car seat. He was trying to talk to me. Ben, hello, and I was like, oh Miles, what is it? So I got back here and had a little nap, and then the others turned up, and we did a little sky watching, and he still needed to sleep more, so I went back to bed. Okay guys, I'm not going to do a full souvenir segment on this video, but I'll just show these things I picked up. Haunted Skies Publishing. John Hanson, alright. Someone I don't get on with very well personally, but look, it's quite a collection he's got here. And Stephen Thornton, the Dice Man, he was one of the speakers. International Medium, Pet Psychic, Horoscope, Photo Readings, yeah. And there's nothing on the back of these. But that's it's interesting, I picked those up. Yeah, Features in Fate and Fortune magazine. He's been on TV, this guy, actually. Yeah. Here's the front door there with Russell. That's the lighthouse was Russell. 1st of December 1821. And read there to all the keys there. Go. I'm going to just head off, left the lighthouse now. I'm now heading back. Now I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get into central Newport. Hopefully I'll find a bus stop somewhere, but I might have to walk it. My first stage of my journey is this very it's not very good road, which the taxi driver almost turned back. He almost stopped actually, because he was worried what it would do to the vehicle. The Miles managed to negotiate with the Miles mobile last night, but you've got to watch your step going over these, especially a city slicker like me. You can easily fall in. I wanted to say, I just wanted to say goodbye to them, and I rang the doorbell at the main lighthouse where Danielle lives with her husband Frank, who are the people who organised all this, and they didn't answer, so I assumed they may still be in bed or something. But I just wanted to say goodbye and thank you, but they didn't answer. So Danielle and Frank, if you're watching, goodbye and thank you. Thanks for the wonderful comments. Thanks for putting me up in such a lovely place last night. Daniel actually said, you know, the aliens might come for you in the night. And I was like, oh, blimey. It's a bit like Rhiannon having to put the bins out. But they didn't. Well, I did hear a couple of strange noises in the room, actually. It's like a loud snapping sound, like snapping fingers. And this happened twice, actually, and I couldn't see where it actually came from. There may be some mechanical feature in the room which does that. I don't know, there was a kind of like a blue fly, like a fly trap, it might have been that. But it seems a bit weird. It didn't sound like that, it was louder than that. I don't remember the same thing at this haunted house I went to in Lincolnshire years ago. Yeah. Anyway, there's Newport's over there. You can just see it actually. I've got to get there and then find the railway station so I can get home. I might see if I find myself a Wetherspoons first and have a breakfast. Yeah, I did have a lovely meal last night in Myrene, this pub. That's Y, one word, M-A-E-R-U-N. If you're ever in the area, go to Myrene. They do fantastic, like double burger. But generally speaking, I still could do with a breakfast. Anyway, guys, onwards we go. I've got to walk along here first, which is I don't have the right shoes for it, unfortunately. I've got to walk along this very broken, unpaved road to get to the main road from where or whence I can catch a bus. Miles and I drove along. This is where we met the place where we saw the tractor is just coming up actually. Miles decided, don't mess with the tractor, I'm just going to reverse and let him go past. So Miles very wisely did that. It's a lovely meadow here, look, it's a beautiful meadow. And the sky, there's no chemtrails in the sky. It's really nice. I think we might not be under an airway here, which is good because it makes sky watching easier. Although, Bristol Airport is not far from here. We did see a couple of low-flying aircraft. Probably coming into land or taking off from Bristol Airport. But sky watching is something you get used to. It's a skill that you develop. When you first start sky watching, you think everything's alien because people don't normally look up in the sky. But when you get used to the normal features of the sky, normal objects, those that are identified flying objects, you can spot the genuine anomalies. Got this sheep over here bleating at me. Hello. And there's a sweet little donkey. Hello. Hello, how are you? You a good donkey? Hello, how are you? Who's a good donkey? You are. Yes, you are. Good donkey. Alright, mate, alright. Keep your hair on. And I'm walking along this, which is called the Lighthouse Road. There's no pavements, but the traffic is quite light. It is a Sunday morning, quite early, luckily. I might be able to find a bus stop to help me get into central Newport. But if not, I'll have to walk the whole way. This reminds me of when I was at Kaz's place, the Skywatch, the Pentax Skywatch video, and I walked back to Cardiff from the Travelodge at the service station. Pardon me. Do you remember that? So I'm just walking along here, facing the oncoming traffic, as they say, and shouldn't be too bad. It's a 5-mile walk to the station, doable for a hospital porter or ex-hospital porter, but and at least the weather's nice. It's not too hot either, so I can't really complain. I might find a bus stop, but I won't wait for the bus if it's going to be too long, like it's every hour or something. All right, guys, it's a good job I've got Google Maps. I didn't bring my road atlas, which is like breaking with a bit of a tradition, but it's been out of date. There's this footpath here which leads into the actual city of Newport, so if I take this way I take a little bit of a shortcut and get away from the traffic, and it's a lovely area. It's warming up actually. It's getting quite hot. I'm going to take my jersey off in a minute. It's warming up quickly, almost like Indian Wells. But I think it's going to be quite a hot day today, and there's hot weather coming actually, forecast for the coming week. So all the usual horror stories in the news. Oh God, it's going to be 32 degrees. Summer, mate. It's called summer. Enjoy it while it lasts, because in a few months' time you'll be wishing it was back. There's a footbridge now, and there's this lovely river. You can actually access it. There's no footpath, but it's like some shingles. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fly tipping on this footpath, which is annoying. Lots of litter, but this bit is very beautiful. We come to this rather sinister looking subway here, which reminds me of an entrance to an underground base. A bit of it is sealed off, but I mean, talking to Rhiannon earlier, she'd appreciate this. There are some crows or other kinds of corvids, or ravens, or rooks, or jackdaws, or something on both sides of this little subway here. Oh, they're nice, aren't they? They're quite well done. I don't know if this is. I mean, look, there's There's another there, look, and there's some various issue. It looks like some kind of tribute there. Issue. And some tags and things, yeah. And now I'm entering Newport now, so I've just got to find my way to the station. Alright, I'm getting there. I'm in Newport now, going up this hill. Oh, it's steep. This reminds me of when I was trawling through Los Angeles trying to find Gareth's grave, if you remember. Can't believe that was less than 3 weeks ago. Seems like a little eternity ago. And, oh, here we go. So I just want to get... It can't keep going up forever. At some point it's going to start to top out, or it's going to start going downhill again. Guys, welcome to British Railways on a Sunday. That's what I called it when I was on my way here. The shittiest service in the Western world. Mass cancellations everywhere. I can get a replacement bus to Bristol Parkway, and from there, if there's no more cancellations, I can get a train to Swindon and then another one to Reading and then to Oxford. But this is almost so predictable. And this whole thing's cost me £90. So that's just standard off-peak. So I've got like a 3/4 an hour to wait now for the replacement bus. I mean, they don't have the excuse of a storm, Dylan, this time. Do you remember when I was on my way back from the UFO Skywatch? But there's nothing like that. It's just a normal Sunday. As you can see, we have a Lou Elizondo lookalike at this station. See him? The road bridge is still open. Well, welcome to Bristol Parkway Station. I'm already on the train. It was just standing at the platform, so I got on. It's not due to leave for 20 minutes, but I'm here early. This is according to the timetable, this is the last train heading east to southern England, and then they're all cancelled until gone 2 o'clock. Presumably they'll get replacement buses with them, but assuming this one leave, I'll be okay. But Sundays, trying to avoid train travel on Sundays. I think that's the motto of this expedition. But hopefully I won't be home too late. I'll play as it goes. According to this, I can actually change at Reading, and I don't have to change at Swindon, so that'll be good. Right, Andy, I've just got on this train. Yeah, I got off at Reading, didn't change at Swindon, even though the National Rail were telling me to do that. And I looked on National, and they told me to catch something at 1:15. 1:14 need to be precisely, from platform 7. But as I was walking past the notice board, it said there was a direct train to Oxford leaving 12:48, and I looked at my clock, it was 12:47. So I ran. You'd be proud of me, guys. You'd be ran. All I ever have been since I was a hospital porter. And I ran, and I literally just got on as the doors were shutting. So yeah, that's handy. So yeah,
welcome aboard.
So there we go.
Western Railway Service.
Bit of luck there.
Oxford.
Alright, I'm back again. There's Bill Clinton's Willie. So back in Oxford. Yeah, it's been a good trip, and in the end, I mean, the journey didn't go too badly. Once I got to Bristol Parkway, it was all plain sailing. So that was good. Not bad for a Sunday, I would say. But now, I don't know what's coming up next. I don't know, but I'm just thinking about what I've been through now, this conference I've been through, what it's been like. Well, not bad, not bad. In fact, the conference itself was really good. What spoiled it, there's a couple of things spoiled it. The first is my drowsiness, and again, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't force myself to sleep, and I can't sleep. I'm up all night the night before sleep, can't sleep. I can't help that. So in fact, I felt so drowsy all day, and through the evening, it was a bit of a downer on it. And also the fact that I'm still in this rather strange frame of mind since I got back from contact in the desert. And again, I don't know what really the solution is to that. So those two things, I think, hampered it slightly. But I still had a really, really great time. I want to say big thanks to Danielle and Frank for organising this, and for all the delegates and speakers. It was really good to meet everyone, and especially those I knew, like Miles Johnston turned up again, so that's really cool. So what's that coming up next? Well, there's a St Theo's watch party I've got to finish. There's the Anthony Pete Reed party. I'm going to start work on that, although maybe I'll leave it a couple more months. And what else is there? A few other things as well. And of course there's some more conferences coming up in the next month or two, so I will be doing some reportages of those as well, so stay tuned for them. In the meantime, thank you all of you for watching HPANWO TV. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.